Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Daytime. Today we are covering a very important topic, one that can be tough to talk about, but could save the life of someone battling an addiction. Greg Hanley, Alex Rahici, and Daniel Baldwin with SOBA Recovery are back in town. Hi,
morning.
guys.
Hi.
Looking very handsome. It's very cold outside, and I like what you've done here.
Freezing.
It is freezing. It's not like California weather here. Okay, so we're going to do something different. You guys are here every month. We love it. But today, we actually want you to answer some viewer questions. So if you have a question for our experts at SOBA, we do want you to email the questions to daytime@foxsanantonio.com, or you can message us through Facebook or Twitter. It's hashtag SOBA. So I thought we could just start off with a question from a viewer. Is that okay?
Cool.
I'll let whoever wants to take it, take it. Okay, here it is. It says, I have a child in college. From what I can gather from his Facebook page, it seems he's out drinking and partying every weekend. What's the normal amount of partying expected? And should I be worried? Should I have a talk with him?
Well,
who wants to take that one?
well, if your spring break is more than 2 weeks, it's probably too much.
Right?
Well, isn't it interesting that the person is asking the advice of whether or not they can talk to their child or not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would hope that the answer would be, of course you should be able to talk to your child. As Alex and Greg say many times, it all starts with a conversation.
Right.
You know, so, but I would also want to ask, how old is this child that you're worried about whether
College age.
Well, but college age can be illegal age to drink anyway until you're a senior. So, you know.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that, I don't know if this is a mom or a dad, but that it's, she says, what I can gather from social media and the Facebook page. And I bet a lot of parents do keep up with their college age kid through social media. And so it would worry me as a mom if every weekend I was seeing pictures of my child drunk or partying. I mean, when should a parent step in and say something? And what is normal for college when it comes to partying and having fun?
I don't know if there's a normal. There's an abnormal, and we deal with the people that get in trouble. And you know, kids are going to do what they do in college. It's kind of, it's almost a rite of passage, it seems. But if there, you know, things are happening that there is, you know, bad grades, or they're going to the hospital, or you know. If you're looking at social media, they're posting pictures of parties all the time. Right. So your impression is going to be that that's all they do, and look in the other places to see what they're doing. Are they showing up for classes? Are they getting good grades? Are they, you know, getting in trouble? And talk to them, like Daniel said. Just see what they say.
And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the spring break aspect, but it is that time of year. So many young kids, you know, this is the time where they kind of let loose and they go and maybe try some things they've never tried before. Should parents be having a conversation with their kids, even if they're not, say, really worried about them? Should they still have that convo before spring break, or, you know, a time like this in their life?
Knowledge is power. You know, I mean, so to be able to turn around and say, hey, if you're, especially for girls and things that occur during these spring breaks, and, you know, make sure, Greg brought up a great point in an earlier conversation about this with me, and that was, make sure you're with a friend at all times, you know, I mean, that's pretty important. There are some, because they're traveling to locations, they're going to Havasu, they're going to Mexico, they're going to Padre Island, you know, whatever, and it's no holds barred, you know, I mean, there's some people down there that are really going to take advantage of the situation if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, too, I would think is that let them know they're not obligated to stay if it gets bad, and that you'll come get them, or you'll figure out a way to get them home, or that they can call you with no judgment and be able to come to safe ground again if things do get out of hand.
You're right. It's great to know that your parents, no matter what, will come and get you. They will take care of you, and then we will deal with the rest of it later, right? All right, guys, don't go anywhere. You're stuck here. And again, remember, we do want to answer any questions that you have. So you can email us your questions, and the guys here will answer them, or you can message us through Facebook or Twitter. The hashtag is SOBA. And coming up after the break, the alarming new face of a very dangerous drug, heroin, and how it relates to something almost everyone uses. Welcome back to Daytime at 9. We are covering an important topic today, and that is addiction and recovery. of recovery. We have the handsome men from SOBA Recovery here, Greg Hanley, Alex Ricci, and Daniel Baldwin. And we're doing something different this time. We're taking viewer questions, and this one actually just came in. So I'm going to go ahead and get right to it, you guys. It says, how do you help someone who is addicted to narcotic pain medicine when they don't recognize that they have a problem? I have addressed the concerns with this person, but nothing really progresses, even though they say they want to stop the medicine.
That's tough. When people get addicted to pain meds, it's an opiate. Usually it's like Vicodin or something like that. And because it's medicine, they think they need it. And we treat a lot of people that have had an accident or something go on, that they've been put on medication like that, and they don't realize that they've already healed, and that they got addicted to it. The way that they prescribe them, it's very easy to get addicted to them.
Right.
Keep talking about that to them, and if you can, get them on the phone with somebody that can relate to it. So make a phone call.
Okay.
That's usually the
And for
plan.
people who don't know who to call, they can call you
Yeah.
at SOBA.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
On the same topic, we've actually had, because you always talk about how I also receive phone calls. We've had a lot of local dentists and doctors here that have been practicing a long time that called saying, can I come meet with you privately, because a lot of our patients that had a surgery 2 years ago are still coming and requesting pain meds.
And they want
And
someone
they
to
don't,
help
they don't
them
know
help
where to
the
go.
patients.
Yeah, they don't know
right.
where to go. They don't know,
And there's some things that go on when somebody are really addicted to medications that you can point out that are specific.
Okay.
Are you counting your pills?
Right.
Do you, make sure that before anything happens, you have a good supply in a stock. Are you running out of them before the prescription is over and having to go to another doctor? Any of those things are like absolutely, this is somebody that's addicted, and call it what it is.
Right.
It is, because they're not doing heroin, doesn't mean they're not a drug addict or addicted, and don't be afraid to talk about it.
And that denial, and this was a great thing that was given to me by somebody who was a counselor, and they said, well, then all you have to do is say, well, then if you're not having a problem, and I'm wrong about this, you wouldn't mind if I held on to the pills and dispensed them to you once every 6 hours when you need them. Just ask me and I'll give them to you. And watch the person go, no, you can hold on to them, and suddenly they're going nuts because they're taking 5 of them an hour.
That makes sense.
But initially they'll probably say, sure you can, and then you'll find out in 2 days, that they can't do it.
No, that makes perfect sense. And you mentioned earlier heroin, and we found this article, and it talks about the new face of heroin addicts, and that's moms and stay-at-home moms. And it talks about how, people, they never think it could be a mom, but it could be anyone. And then the article goes on to say that a lot of these moms are getting addicted to heroin, but it starts with prescription pain medicine, getting addicted to that first and then moving on to heroin. So I wanted you guys to break down, if you could, some of the signs that someone may be addicted to prescription pain medicine. We have the top 5, and one of them says increased use, which you just talked about, when they're using more than they're supposed to be in an allotted amount of time.
Yeah, they do what's called doctor shopping. If you notice they're going to multiple doctors, then that's a problem.
Sure.
Or if they're coming up, if there's money shorting, because some people, if they run out, they got to buy them from dealers that are dealing pills, and there's pill dealers, just like heroin dealers, and or crack dealers. They're the same people. And the thing about it is that once you start getting pills from a dealer, sooner or later you're not going to be able to afford them, or the dealer's going to go, for $10 you can, you can get the same thing as off this pill, and that's where the moms start using heroin.
Another one it mentions is changes in appearance and behaviors. What kind of changes in appearance? What physical changes are we talking about?
Well, you're going to look really tired. People are not, they're not eating, they're not sleeping properly. So eventually it's going to show in wear and tear. And behaviorally, you'll notice too, very short, quick to get angry,
Lots of ups and downs.
Yeah,
ups and
big
downs.
spikes.
Yeah.
When it
Big
just
spikes.
wouldn't make sense normally for
Yeah.
them to get that upset about it.
Opiates in particular too, I found that suddenly people just don't care about things as much. Even that's taking care of the house, if it was a mom, if that was her one of her responsibilities, that they let things go, responsibilities.
Also, withdrawal from friends and family, defensive when discussing medication use, as you mentioned, and obsessive behaviors around medications. What does
Yeah,
that mean?
They get
Obsessive
really creepy.
behaviors.
If you get near their medication, you can tell that they get very anxious, or if you talk about it, anything having to do with their stuff, they act really differently right away. It's kind of like if you caught a kid lying about something, they get really anxious and defensive. It's the same thing with, I've had people come in with a huge amount of medication, and you can go to the doctor and get multiple kinds just based on, I have a bad neck, my back hurts, my this, and I've seen them come in with, well, this wasn't working, so they'll give them something higher dose of something else, and they end up with this whole, I mean, if somebody's at home and they have a whole pharmacy-looking thing going on, something's a problem with that, for sure.
Something's off.
You shouldn't need 9 different types of painkillers at all. Yeah,
I got you.
And Greg pointed out a great thing about, they've had the surgery, the dentist or the doctor,
It's
Alex said,
over.
okay, and suddenly there's that phantom pain is coming back again, and you'll hear them whining about it because they're setting it up. So they're going, my neck's really been bothering me again, and suddenly they're off to another doctor and they're shopping for the doctor because they're setting it up.
Or they go to the emergency room.
That too.
I've heard of
Yeah.
that a lot too.
Yeah.
Where it's a different doctor every time when
Yeah.
you go there. So, okay, gentlemen, well, we have more viewer questions, several more that we want to get to after the break. So if you have a question, you still have time to get those to us. You can email them, daytime@foxsanantonio.com, or again, send a message through Facebook or Twitter. The hashtag is SOBA. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are with Greg Hanley, Alex Rahichi, and Daniel Baldwin of SOBA Recovery, and we are answering your questions. And we just got a question in right now from a viewer, and I want to go ahead and get to this if we could, guys. It says, my niece is at a big university. She's with the wrong crowd. She's hooked on meth. We tried to get her help from the university, but they said she's an adult and they really can't help unless she does something or is reported. She has her own trust fund, so we can't cut her funding. She is an excellent student, not sure about this year. How do we get help for her?
That's really tough. So with meth people, it's different than people who are on other drugs or alcohol. People who are doing other drugs usually know something's wrong, even if they don't admit it. People who are on meth, they don't realize they have a problem. And it actually does physical changes in the brain that makes you, things that aren't normal seem normal. It's like it's an actual thing that happens. So she doesn't know what's going on. And the only way that, and it's very rare that a meth person will just raise up their hands and go, I need help, I don't want to do this anymore. She thinks that she's doing great. And
She really
and
has
she'll be
no
going,
idea.
my grades are great, everything, the teeth can be falling out of the head and you still think you're doing okay. So what you got to do with them is bother them and bother them and bother them and report them and bother them and just continue to make things so uncomfortable that eventually they'll go in for at least an evaluation. And it takes a long time with people who are on meth. It's not something that you can just go in and do. It is, you have to just keep showing up until they're sick of you showing up and they give up.
Because they're tired of you bothering them.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's really the truth. I tell people that it's not a single intervention with a meth person because they don't realize anything is wrong.
Now, what if they, I know you say you keep showing up, but what if they're at a university that's across the country? I mean, how do you bother them that way?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, and I can tell you that and these gentlemen will testify, you can usually tell, watch their Facebook, watch their stuff like that, the social media. If they're writing and tweeting at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're using at that time. You can call for a wellness check every day for a month. And the cops are going to show up at that door to make sure they're okay. And if the cop looks at her and goes, I'm sorry, are you under the influence? They'll arrest her right then and there.
Right. God, but as a parent, you know, and we were talking about this during the break, I would think it would be so hard to not want to protect them, not want to keep them from getting arrested. But sometimes that's what it takes, right?
You are protecting
That's the
them.
other
That is
choice.
protecting
The other
them.
choice is sooner or later something's going to happen. Meth people can't do that indefinitely, even if they have a lot of money. They're going to crash a car, get in trouble, get arrested, and generally, probably most often than not, I get people who are meth addicts in treatment that are court ordered, and they have no choice.
Right.
And it is, but the main thing is don't give up. It's just keep the conversation open and understand that you're dealing with a crazy person.
Right. They are not in their right mind, and
Yeah.
you really can't reason with them. I want to get to one more question, if we could here. This gentleman says, I have a friend who has a beer or two every single night. He doesn't get drunk, just always has a drink. Does this mean he has a problem? Should I say something? We've been friends for years.
Well, if you want to get him mad at you.
But is that normal? I mean, for someone to have a drink every single night,
It can
even
be.
if it's one or two?
It can be pretty normal.
Yeah.
If it's
You
affecting
know-
the friendship, attitude, not waking up, going to work.
Yeah, there are consequences.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the thing is this, people, even including my mom, who's 94, she drinks scotch at night, and she asks me if she has a problem. And I said, does it interfere with you having a good life?
Okay.
And it is, you know, that's the question. Does 2 beers after work interfere with somebody having a good life?
Probably not.
Yeah, the answer is leave him alone.
Yeah, he's
You know,
doing okay.
Have a beer with him if
Yeah.
if you can.
Yeah.
You know, and talk about something else. But no, it
Gotcha.
doesn't sound like it.
Okay, so if he's doing okay, everything else is on track, he's good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks
Not
guys.
spiraling out of control.
Is
Got
he
it.
shooting heroin with
Got
the
it.
beer?
That's
or,
a problem.
Yeah. Now we're not talking German steins
No,
like
just
this
a
big or
beer,
something
like-
with a straw.
Like one, and we're done. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with resources available right here in Texas and San Antonio to get your loved ones on the path to recovery. And we are back with the gentleman from SOBA Recovery. You actually have some very important information you want to share with our viewers, Alex.
Well, more than, I mean, we were just talking about, they're putting fentanyl, is what it's called, in heroin right now. And we keep talking about how there's an epidemic across the U.S. Easiest thing to do, don't listen to just us. Go to Google, everybody knows what that is, and put in just the word heroin, and then click on news. You know how there's images, video? Click on news and see how much stuff is going on. There's something every 3 minutes in this country with the word heroin.
Okay, good to know, and that's great information, especially
Absolute
for parents
epidemic.
too.
Yeah.
Parents out there that are watching. Now, if someone is, they're not sure if they're dealing with an addiction or not, or they have a loved one who they're worried about, they have no idea what to do, they can call you at SOBA. You will tell them what to do,
It
right? You will
starts the
hold their
phone call.
hand.
Yeah, and there'll be specialists who answer the phone, and they know how to talk to somebody and find out what's going on and if we can help.
Okay. And you have SOBA Recovery open right here in San Antonio, a wonderful place for people to go and
Out by SeaWorld.
out by SeaWorld, and you're always there, and they can call you 24/7.
24/7, and if somebody needs to get out of the community or, you know, not be close to home, there's other SOBA facilities where they can go out of state.
Okay.
So-
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. It's always so wonderful to see you. Thank you for everything you're doing for people in San Antonio and just throughout the country. So we appreciate it. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And we will see you guys tomorrow.